Good morning. I'm a few minutes early. Hey, when you're ready, you're ready. So I'll wait just a minute, take a couple of drinks of my coffee, and see who is the first to join me this morning. The best way to start the day. Coffee and Jesus. What a combination. My little cup here says, "May the Lord reward you for your kindness," Ruth 1 and 8. And on the back it says, "Grateful for you." It's a gift, as most all my coffee cups are. And they all have some special meaning to them. And I am so grateful this morning for all of my friends, and grateful to the Lord for giving me another safe trip home. I got home yesterday evening and unloaded the car, did a load of laundry, and then just chilled the rest of the evening in my recliner. And it felt really, really good. But this has been a great trip, and I've seen many great things happening. I saw the wedding of my granddaughter. I gained a new grandson. I stopped in Tupelo, Mississippi and preached, and then went on to Corning, Arkansas to be in service with Brother and Sister Allen and their lovely people there. Then traveled on home yesterday, and just if you followed anything on Facebook with me, you know that the last few days have been a panic-driven mode because we had to move our ladies' retreat at the last minute. But God had His hand in it, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. Let me try to get my throat wet. Let me see who's on here with me. If I can. Good morning, Paula. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome to my front porch in Chelsea. Our last visit was from Alabama. And now I'm home for a couple of days. And then I'll be leaving out Friday for El Dorado, Kansas. And I'll be ministering Friday night there. And then going on over into Missouri to Osceola to be with my friends at Freedom Tabernacle for the weekend. And it's going to be a great, great weekend. But let me tell you how good God is. That's what I like to talk about. I like to talk about the goodness of God, how good He is. Because, you know, one of my favorite choruses is, "All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God." You can tell my voice this morning. Yeah, I got a lot of drainage, so I wouldn't dare try to sing for you this morning. But God is so good. And yesterday morning, when I came into the house, my children pick up my mail every few days, and they leave it on the kitchen table. And so I had a stack of mail to go through. And as I went through them, I came up on an envelope from a friend in California, in the Fresno, California area, Sister Robin Minoz. I think I'm saying her last name right. And it was a card, and in that card was this beautiful little wooden lighthouse. It's just adorable. It's not just a painted piece of wood. They're like inlaid pieces put together like a puzzle. And it is just precious. It's beautiful. And if you know me at all, you know my love for lighthouses. And what is really funny is just a couple of days ago, in my memories, it popped up on Facebook where a friend had sent me in 2020, had sent me a post and a little writing about the 50th anniversary of the Lighthouse. That had just the song "The Lighthouse" by Ronnie Henson. And that had just popped up a couple days ago. And then I got home, and I had this beautiful little lighthouse in the mail. And so, of course, that got me to thinking again about lighthouses. There was a time, probably 18 years ago, 20 years ago now, I had a friend come over, and her son said, "I'm going to go through your house, and I'm going to count every lighthouse you have and everything that you have lighthouses on." Because I had lighthouse curtains, I had lighthouse shower curtain. I had lighthouse pictures. I had lighthouses on the walls. And he counted, and I don't remember the count, but it seems like it was 105 lighthouses he found in my house. It's over 100. Well, since then, I've reduced my lighthouses. When I had to move from Texas to Oklahoma and everything had to go in storage, I started culling down lighthouses. And, of course, got rid of curtains, got rid of a lot of pictures. I got rid of lighthouse statues. If I couldn't remember who gave it to me or where it came from, I got rid of it because it didn't really have a memory with it. But I still have a lot of lighthouses. And this one, I can't wait to put on my purse. This little key ring is going on my purse. Thank you, Sister Robin. I love it, love it, love it. And so that got me thinking again about the lighthouse. When the lighthouse, Kenny Henson recorded the Lighthouse first in October of 1971. And it went on the charts as a #1 song. No one had ever heard of the Hensons. They were a new young family group. And the Lighthouse put them on the charts. And then, of course, a little bit later, the Happy Goodmans recorded that song, and I think it was on the charts for over 30 months as the #1 song. Why? What was so special about the Lighthouse that resonated with people, and they loved it? I first, as soon as I heard that song by Ronnie Henson, I keep wanting to say Kenny, Ronnie Henson, I had to learn it. I loved it. I fell in love with it the minute I heard it. And I remember the first time I tried to sing it. It was pretty pitiful. I mean, I had just heard it that week. And back then we had the old little tape cassette recorders. And so I had taped it off the radio on my cassette recorder. And then I'd play a little bit and punch it and stop. Write the words down. Play a little bit more and stop it and write the words down. That's how I got the words to it. And then I'd sing it over and over with that tape. Sirens are going this morning. Praying for someone. And the katydids are going. I was going to preach at a little church in Monette, Missouri. I don't even know if it's still in existence. It's a little full gospel church there, which would have been in 1971. And so I learned that song and took my accordion, and I sang that song before I preached that night. It was terrible. Needless to say, they never asked me to come back again. I can still tell you the name of the pastor, but I won't. I'm sure he's dead by now. They treated me really good, but they never asked me to come back. I did pretty pitiful that night. But in spite of my pitifulness, the Lighthouse, guess what? It still stands firm. Let me read you a few notes that I had written from several years ago about the Lighthouse. The lamp from the lighthouse chases away the darkness and floods the area with light. And if you know anything, and I'm sure you do, about lighthouses, it was probably 35 years before I ever got to see a lighthouse in person. I dreamed of lighthouses. I sang about lighthouse. I loved lighthouses. I'd started collecting lighthouses, but I never got to see one. And about 35 years later, my daughter had married and moved to Key West, Florida. And Jerry and I took a vacation, compliments of my daughter and son-in-law. They flew us to Key West, rented us a car, and actually we flew to Miami, and rented a car and drove down to Key West. And I got to see my first real lighthouse. And I climbed to the top of that lighthouse. I was determined My husband said, "You'll never make it." I said, "You watch me." And I took this right arm and I pulled myself step by step to the top of the lighthouse. You've heard me tell this before. And when I got to the top, I just bawled like a baby because I'd made it to the top of the lighthouse. Well, the function of a lighthouse is not just to look pretty. Lighthouses weren't built for decor. They weren't built for just a decoration sitting out there. They weren't even built for a landmark. The lighthouse was built to drive away the darkness. For ships that were coming into port or coming in somewhere that might not be able to see with their lights, when they got close enough, well, they didn't even have to be very close because the light would shine out for miles. It was such a high beam that it would shine out and it would guide the ships in so that they wouldn't hit the rocks and they wouldn't hit anything. And so the lighthouse was built to drive away the darkness and flood the area with light. Does that make you think of somebody? It does me. Jesus is the lighthouse, and from the rocks of sin, he has shone his light around me, that I might clearly see. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, tell me, where would my ship be? That's pretty pitiful singing this morning too. But Jesus is my lighthouse. He floods, he drives away the darkness, and he floods the area with light. Another thing about the lighthouse never moves. But the beam from the lighthouse is always in motion, illuminating the water as it passes from one side to the other. But the lighthouse never moves. Again, Jesus is like the lighthouse. He never changes. He never moves. But the beam is always encompassing everywhere that we're at. The light of his love is always moving, searching the waters, reaching out to those who are distressed and needing to find refuge in the harbor. Psalm 62:7, David said, "In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God." The definition of refuge is, number one, it's a shelter or protection from danger or distress. If you were a ship on a dark, stormy night and you lost your way and you were having difficulty, there was not anything more welcome to you than to see the lights from the lighthouse. Because now you can find your way. The light from the lighthouse illuminates your path. Oh, hallelujah. To help you find your way in the midst of the storm. Another definition of a refuge is it's a place that provides shelter or protection. The lighthouse was built to withstand the highest winds and the hardest storms. I just looked and I forgot. Let me look again, because if my list is up to date and correct, I have visited 23 actual lighthouses. 23. And I have climbed to the top of probably at least 15 of them, maybe more. There were a few that were not open to where we could go in them. But any lighthouse that was open, I climbed to the top of it. Sister Robin's promised me that I'm not going to say if, when I get to California to visit them, she's going to take me to a California lighthouse. Because I've never seen a California lighthouse. I've been all up the Outer Banks. I've been all the way down to St. Augustine. And I've climbed the top of Cape Hatteras, one of the most famous lighthouses on the coast, on the eastern coast. But I've never saw a California lighthouse. So Sister Robin has promised me, when I hold her to that, Lord willing, that when I get to California, she's going to take me to a California lighthouse. But a lighthouse was built. They are strong. I've seen lighthouses that are well over 100 years old. Well over 100. Some closer to 200 years old. And they're still standing. There's not as many functioning today, but they're still standing there as a replica of a safe place, a refuge. They're standing there as a memorial to the sailors and the ships that depended on them to get them safely into port. And then a lighthouse is something a refuge is something to which one has recourse in difficulty. Because Jesus is my lighthouse. He's my strong tower. He's my refuge in difficulty. I don't know what you're facing today. I've got some major decisions coming up in my life. I've got some pressing things that I prayed yesterday all day as I traveled. Lord, I need and desire the wisdom of Solomon. I don't know what to do. And so, what do? I go to the lighthouse. And in the lighthouse, I find shelter. I find safety. I find my refuge in times of distress and difficulty. Can I remind you this morning that Jesus is the lighthouse? And he said, I am the light of the world. Yeah, let's look it up. You know, I can't tell you exactly where it's found if I don't look at it. But you might want to go there and read about it. John chapter 8 and verse 12. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. He's the lighthouse. And he drives out the darkness. And he'll flood your life with light. Do you need a refuge today? Do you need a light? Check out the lighthouse. It's a refuge that'll drive out the darkness and flood your life with light. God bless you. It's good to be home and rest a few days. And my bed felt good last night. I slept in some comfortable beds while I've been gone. Every bed I've slept in has been very comfortable. But there's no bed like my bed. And no recliner quite like my recliner. And as the old saying goes, there's no place like home. And one of these days, I'll reach my home. For my home is just around the bend. I think about it now and then. Reunions by the millions everywhere. And the one that I so long to see is the one who bled and died for me. My home, a place I long to be. That's the best I can do today. God bless you. Have a great Taco Tuesday. We're having nachos tonight. If you want to join us, hop on over. I love you. God bless you. The Lord willing, I'll see you on Thursday.